Hello and welcome to the second episode of Focal Point, the type of discussion where we talk to artists in the respective fields. Today we're talking about being funny. You know, we're here joined by the undergrads.
What's up?
You guys want to introduce yourselves individually?
Yes, my name is James Lynch.
I'm Patrick Farley.
And I'm Sean Fitzmaurice.
All right, great. Give your Instagram handles and everything. First question. How did the undergrads start? Where did you guys get the idea for this?
Swimming in the pool.
Yeah.
We were at the rec center and we were in the pool. We were talking about like funny ideas, what we wanted to do. And unfortunately, we didn't have a camera or any type of editing software, but we were like, we should just make the videos.
Yeah, I met James at freshman orientation, and we just automatically like kicked it off, and like we were just making each other laugh, and then like we were hanging out. Like it was like I think it was the first day of, it was like one of the first few days of college, and we were hanging out. We were at the pool, and we were like, I want to do like YouTube, and I want to make like sketches, and I was like, I want to do that too. And so that's where like the whole idea of the undergrads was born, was in that rec center pool.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and I actually went to a different school last year, but I've known James my whole life. And in high school, we always wanted to make videos and stuff too, and make sketch comedy, but we didn't have the equipment like James said. But then I was only like 40 minutes away at Seton Hall, and James called me one day and was telling me about it, and I was like, oh, I'd really love to do that. So I would visit every weekend or so, like every 2 weeks I would say, and we would like film something because James got a camera for Christmas, and then I ended up transferring here, and it all went from there.
Yeah, it's history.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's history.
Awesome. So going off of your content that you make, what made Instagram the ideal choice for getting most of your content out there?
Just like the overall growth that we've received on Instagram. Like we originally started on YouTube and it was kind of slow. Like we wouldn't gain as many subscribers and views, and then we would just kind of put one video out on Instagram just to like, we were just messing around. It was like a short video. We're like, yeah, let's just put it on Instagram. And it just almost blew up kind of. Like it was like,
I think the thing that changed was we initially were like, okay, we're going to strictly do YouTube. Like, and the first sketch we did, it was really, it was the Jewel mockumentary, and we had a lot of fun shooting that. That was the first time I met Sean, was on that shoot, and we were just like, we went with it, and it was awesome. And that got a lot of good feedback, but as we went on, it was harder to grab people's attention with 3 to 5 minute videos. And I remember it was this incoming semester, we were just hanging out in our dorm room, all of us, and we were just like, let's just like film something for Instagram, and it was the Polar Seltzer one. It was the Polar Seltzer one. Because Mikey is a part of the undergrads too. Yes. Mikey is the fourth undergrad. A lot of people just think it's us three, but Mikey is a part of the undergrads, and he helps us out with not only creatively, but like
what we could do,
we can do.
Nice.
So we were all just hanging out, and we were like, we should just like do something. Like, what's an idea? And Mikey famously loves Polar Seltzer. So when we all moved in, he comes in with like 4 huge 30 packs of Polar Seltzer, like a weird amount. And so he comes in and we're like, all right, well, Polar Seltzer is going to be like our thing now, I guess. I think that's all we're drinking. So we just like made up an idea on the spot of like just this weird like, we're going to be shirtless in the bathroom with Polar Seltzer.
And we shooting it like as if it was a commercial for Polar Seltzer.
Yeah. And we just put it up, and it just like did really well. And that's when that was like the first instance when we noticed it was like, this might be our new thing, like 1 minute sketches. So that's kind of how like the Instagram format was built.
Yeah, because originally we were just using our Instagram page as like a promotion for our YouTube. Like we were just putting like short ads and clips of our YouTube videos. But again, like no one was actually clicking on the link to watch our YouTube videos. Like we weren't getting the growth we wanted pretty much. And then we posted the Polar Seltzer video and it did very well. I think it's just because it's easier to watch a 1 minute video, like for the audience.
It's very instant. It's already there. So
exactly. It's right there. Like you don't have to click a link and then go to another website, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I think that's why when we realized
I feel like also like time too. Like I wouldn't want to personally watch 3 minutes of someone I don't know, but if it's like just 1 minute of like comedy, and it gives us a chance to just show who we are and our potential and all that.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. From a technical standpoint, using vertical video today can be seen as like taboo to some creatives.
Yeah.
You know, like people find it extremely limiting to put yourself in that kind of aspect ratio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you find that these limitations help you think more creatively, or are they more restricting?
It's like a little bit of both, honestly.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like, we have to do what we can within the limitation of shooting vertically. Like, we can't have like a huge wide shot of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But I also think it does make us more creative because, like, we're like, okay, so what can we do within shooting vertical? You know?
Yeah, I think it's the time limit, like, because every sketch we do is we probably have about 2 to 3 minutes worth of footage and jokes and stuff, and we like basically edit it all together, and then it's like 3 to 4 minutes, and we're like, okay, we have to cut this down. We've gotten good to the point where when we're writing, it's like, okay, we're like subconsciously like to the point now where it's like, okay, we're only getting like 1:30 and 2 minutes worth of footage, so it's. But I think it's more creative. I mean, I find it more creative because it's just like, I like it better because it's like we need to grab an audience attention, the attention of the audience in 1 minute, and it just makes it a lot like we can do a lot in a minute, and I feel like a lot of creators like kind of struggle with that. And although the vertical, like the aspect of it, I wish it was not we had to film vertically because I think we could do a lot more. But I like working with the confines of what we can do on Instagram, and I think it just makes us come up with better ideas for like not only writing but like special effects and stuff like that, and like in the aspects of what we can do.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it helps us and hurts us, like James said, because we've gotten so used to doing these vertical videos in just a minute that I feel like if we went to YouTube, that we would take for granted that we have so much time because finally we have time. So then we would spread things out a little too much, I think.
Yeah.
But I do think it helps us because we're getting quicker with our like. We know what's good to put in a video and what's bad, and it turns out pretty well every time. And then the vertical part that was your question originally. Framing can be tough sometimes, but it's honestly I don't think it's that bad.
I think we've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
Like we've gotten to the point where it's like we have to film like this, so we have to.
Because it's not like we want to film vertically because like it's we have to film vertically because of the Instagram format. But if we went to like YouTube or something, we wouldn't film vertically.
Yeah. I mean, as a DP myself, it's about like making the content fit where it's going.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And, you know, like it's creative at the end of the day. No matter how it's being shown, you guys do a great job. Composition is still great all the time. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
God, stop.
Well, anyway, going off of all of that, I wanted to ask, as artists, we want to create the best quality products possible, but sometimes spending too much time critiquing our quality can limit the quantity of the content that we actually produce.
Yeah.
So on this like quality versus quantity debate of content, is it more about getting your voice out there and spending less time on the technical and just, kind of run and gun situations, or?
I definitely think quantity actually it's like a mix of both, but I feel like we started off doing like one video a week and we would gain like a few followers, but then we changed to like 2 videos a week and now 3, and we're just gaining more and more followers the more videos we do. So I see like a rise of quantity is going to help us like gain more followers.
Yeah, and also a rise in quantity will help our quality go up.
Yeah.
Because the more followers you get, the more attention you get on yourself, and then you can end up making money from it and stuff like that. So
I think we do, like, I'm a big person on like quality and like making it as good as possible, but it's like I've gotten to the point where I'm working with these two and Mikey and are a lot of our frequent collaborators where it's like I know that we have quality stuff, we have quality ideas. It's just consistency. It's like we need to be posting 2 times a week, and I think it's more about consistency than quantity.
Okay.
I think it's like we have quality ideas, we write them, we put time into them. Some more than others. There are some ideas we spend a lot more time on because it's just like a bigger production, and then there are other ideas like our last sketch. It was like, let's just shoot this, and it's like that didn't take a lot of time, but the idea itself is quality. I think we all three of us and everybody who's involved in this has quality ideas. I think it's more about consistency and posting when we're supposed to be posting and trying to post as much as possible, because we are still trying to get out there and get our voice heard. So it's like, if we can post 2 times to 3 times a week, I want to post every day, but we just don't have that time.
Yeah.
But
other things going on. Yeah.
Other things going. I mean, college students, and but I think it's more about consistency, and then we focus a lot on quality as much as possible. But quantity plays a part into it in growing, I think.
I find it funny that like most of the videos that do the best for us are the ones that we don't really put that much time into.
No, yeah,
like
it's
editing
insane.
wise and all that. It's just like kind of just thrown together versus like
That's
when
good to know, though.
Yeah. And I think there's something that has to be said with the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the simple ideas where it's like, we kind of make a simple idea, but it's just like, it's got that weird twist to it that people love. It's just, we want to do more high quality stuff, like the Bean sketch and the 8 Mile spoof.
Yeah,
like, that took a lot
great.
of time, and that was really fun to do, and it was something different, but
they just don't do as well.
no,
really.
and I think people just like the simplicity of like James in a dress, or us dressed up as females. It's like something simple like that people love, and we just love doing that.
Yeah.
That's great.
I also think quantity is very important when trying to grow, but I think we're trying to figure out the best way to put out a lot of content, but not too much. Because personally, like when I see an account that posts like every day or multiple times a day, I get kind of annoyed.
Yeah.
Like I get tired of seeing it. So I think like the 3 times a week is pretty good. 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And then like both of them said, like I think we put quality into every one of our videos. Maybe not as much as like a professional, obviously, but eventually, hopefully, we could get to that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, quantity. We used quantity because we're trying to grow at this point. Like the most we can.
And the quality shows. I mean, you guys, Mikey, you guys have creative backgrounds with film, TV, so you have an understanding of how visuals look, and it definitely still shows.
Yeah.
So you have a nice blend of both.
Thank you.
I would say. I'm just gonna keep complimenting you. This whole
God.
Yeah. So what's a typical brainstorming session look like? Like how do you get these wacky ideas? Because I noticed that in your captions sometimes you'll credit who had the idea.
Yeah.
A lot of our ideas literally just come from situations we put ourselves in. Like the other day we were eating at Freeman Dining Hall and this song came on. And
Take Me to the Other Side by Jason Derulo.
Yeah, that song came on and we're just like, we literally improv like lines of like, oh, this would be funny to do that with this song, and like it's just bouncing ideas like based on the situation we're in. That's really how it happens.
And like for an example, the toothpaste sketch where James puts toothpaste on my finger and uses it as a toothbrush. It was great. But like one morning me and James got up and we're getting ready for 8:30. We're both miserable and like groggy. And I'm like in the sink and I have my hand down. He's like, ugh. And he just takes my finger. I'm like, what the? And as a joke, but I was like, wait, that would be kind of funny if we kind of have like a base idea. Like we'll all come up with something like a situation. And then we were like, okay, but how can we like just make it way more like exaggerate it as much as possible.
And a lot of our ideas are like normal, like situations that would never happen, but we make look normal. And like just exaggerate it so much.
And that's when, and then we'll like sit down, and then when we write, it's like that's like one of the most collaborative stuff. Like we usually write in our dorm room or like in the comm building, and it's usually us three, Mikey, and then maybe Danny or our frequent collaborator, Danny or Chitty, and we're like, okay, like this would work, and like, oh wait, no, cut this, like maybe put this line in here.
Okay, so it is a little in depth when you come down to breaking it down.
When we get the base idea, it's usually like me and James, or me and Sean, or James and Sean, or like the three of us or the four of us are just kind of like, oh, this would be funny, and then when we write, it's like we're kind of all there. And like some person's typing, and like we try to figure out a flow of it and give that like undergrad's like touch to it. You know.
That's great.
But that's basically how it works.
Yeah. I'm going to say we actually have a clip here from one of your 1-minute Instagram sketches. So I want to take a quick watch, and then we'll talk about it.
So I was fist deep in the fire hydrant, and then I didn't know what.
Dude, it's her ex-girlfriends. What are you guys doing here?
Listen, we don't want any trouble. Do you miss us yet? No.
Yeah, do you miss the way we used to cuddle at night? I don't.
Do you miss the way I used to cover you in orange paint and make you jump around like a little baby carrot?
No, I don't miss that.
Do you miss the way I used to sing to you?
And give you little back rubs.
And do you miss the way I used to drop down on the floor and roll around like a little can of Chef Boyardee and you'd chase after me?
Sean, what?
No, I don't miss that. No.
Do you miss my meals?
My little that kiss ass.
Yeah, I bet you miss the way I used to tie you down to the bed and throw little pieces of chicken at you because you're my Scott and I was your Mr. Colonel Sanders.
Sean, what the fuck?
Well, no, no.
Whatever, ladies. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Dude, whatever. We don't need him.
Yeah. Right, Sean?
Here comes Mr. Sanders. I'm your little skillet.
All right. Yeah, so Sean, you got some issues.
Yeah, I do.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, how did this start? Like, where, this is obviously like a really successful video for you guys.
Yeah.
Really defined like who you guys are, what kind of content, what kind of humor you guys are trying to pull off. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So this came from, I wasn't there when they thought of this, but I love the idea, to be honest. It's just a great idea, and I'm really happy it worked out. And this is probably one of my favorite videos too, just because a lot of people who mean a lot to me like this video so much. Like, my cousins always quote me in this video, and I love it so much. It's so funny. But yeah, I don't know where the idea came from. That's them.
I think when we came up with this idea, I don't know, I think it was both of us or something. We were just like, oh, it'd be funny if we like, because I think I initially pitched like running, like, because always running your ex-girlfriend is tough and like always an awkward situation. And I think I was like, yeah, we should do something like where we run into like our ex-girlfriends and we can get a bunch of girls. And then James was like, no, like, what if we were our ex-girlfriends? And I was like, that's a genius idea. Like, what if we ran into ourselves as our ex-girlfriends, which we look like the Canker sisters from Ed, Edd and Eddy, but so we borrowed my girlfriend's clothes, we borrowed wigs from MSU players, and we were like, okay, let's just do this. And when we were writing it, we were like, okay, who's going to be, like, the weird one? Sean. Like, Sean just gives, like, this, definitely, like, when we were writing, it was like, should we all be weird? And like, we were like, no, like, we should be kind of like cool. Like, the girlfriend should be weird, but like Sean's should just be like
Over the top.
Yeah, I love that dynamic of
Yeah.
like it's already a weird situation.
Yeah.
You're hearing funny stories from both of you guys.
Yeah.
But then you just got this extreme.
Yeah.
Dude, we didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
And knowing Sean and knowing the kind of characters he does, it was like, it was an instant, like, we can write for Sean and he'll just be down to do anything and give it like that weird twist, like, cover me up in paint, like, and the way he delivers the lines, it's perfect.
And how he tries to cover it up too. That's
it's
just so good.
Building that dynamic with Sean is, because we wrote that at Chitty's, like, it was all of us, all three of us, and we were just writing like, okay, like, you missed my neck kisses, and we're like, oh no. And then we're like, okay, we got to Sean, and it was like, what is the weirdest thing we can have him say?
Yeah.
And we just built it off, like, getting covered in
random,
Rolling
weird,
around on the floor.
descriptive things.
But I loved first filming this because we're in like girl clothes, and people are walking by and we're like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Follow our page.
And it's just the voices like we were all doing. We would break characters so many times. There's so many bloopers from this video.
Yeah. But I really love this sketch, and it is like one of my favorites too. Like,
you mentioned some people would like stop or obviously look. Do you guys get a lot of that? Do you guys ever get people that are like, oh shit,
yes,
undergrads? Like,
kind of, yeah. But like,
not quite there yet.
not like crazy.
When we're filming, it's like there's this one girl on our floor who always sees us filming. And she has no context of what we do or like what it's for, but it's just we're always doing like the weirdest thing. Like for the ex-girlfriend, she walked in when we were filming the Halloween one. We're all dressed up like beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
She walked in on that one, and she's just like every single time she's like, these kids are so weird.
Yeah, and I find it like now that we're growing, it's a lot of people are looking at us like whether we're on campus or in the hallways, they're like, oh, they're the undergrads, they're just filming a sketch. Like it's gotten to the point where it's not like, oh, what are these three kids doing? I think it's getting to the point where people are like, I know them. I've like seen one of their sketches. Like this is like yesterday we were filming the dress one, and I mean James is out on the quad in a red dress, and we're like thinking of like we want to like spin and dance to the sound of music, and there are 4 other guys that are playing spike ball, and they're like, oh dude, no, that's the undergrads. And then we got them involved in the sketch too, because we love that when people like come up to us and be like, oh hey, I like your sketches and stuff. It's like that's like probably one of the best parts of doing this is just having people like recognize and tell how much they like the sketches.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah, so you've built somewhat of a community with this. I mean, you guys have regular guests, regular people featured on. Obviously, you guys, have people that are wanting to be on the show, like you just said. What advice would you give to people your age, older, younger, new to this stuff that you'd say to build that sense of community? Like, what can people like you guys do to help find people? Because, obviously, like, none of this stuff would happen if you guys didn't find each other, for instance. Yeah.
I say if you want to do something, like if you like, it doesn't matter, a podcast, start a band, anything, just do it. Like literally at the end, no one's gonna judge you, and if they do, who cares? Like the only people that matter are the ones that are gonna support you doing it.
Yeah, great.
So.
Yeah, I think it's just knowing your limits, knowing what you can do with what you have, and working with the equipment that you have, and get as many people involved as possible. If you have, like, that's what we did, was I found somebody that wants to do something. He also knew somebody who wants to do this, and then we all just came together and made it happen. And we, like, being honest with each other and being collaborative and just, like, pushing each other to, like, not only just do, YouTube, but Instagram and, getting up. And even though, like, I haven't, like, written a paper, I'm going to go film a sketch because that's what's important to me right now.
Yeah,
it's like, and finding people that want to succeed.
Yeah.
I'm always under the precedent, if we succeed, everybody succeeds. Like, all our friends, because those are the people we want to work with, and find people you want to work with. And that's the best part about this process, is being with people that want to work with you, and then finding people that also like your stuff and getting them involved, because that's the best part. Because if they want to be involved, then they're going to give their everything for a 1-minute sketch where I'm hitting him in the nuts or something. Like, it's just people that want to be involved. Like, we love that.
That's great.
Yeah, I say stay humble, stay open-minded, and surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
Because if someone's hating on you or doesn't believe in you, they're not worth your time, and don't let them hurt you. Like, don't let them tell you what you're going to be, because the possibilities are endless if you put the work in. So anyone who wants to do something that they want to do but think they can't, they can. If they put the work in and they really truly believe they can, do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's what we're all about here at the Rising Artists Collective. So basically just spoke for us too.
No,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Because I know all the people here want to succeed and want others to succeed too, and that's what's most important, I think.
That's great. So to talk on someone who's really huge, I mean, the late legend himself, Robin Williams, he once said that comedy is acting out optimism. So, he made it clear that his goal with comedy was to bring out the best in people and show them that same sense of optimism. Yeah. Do you find that comedy as a whole can really help cure people of pain or just like daily issues?
Yeah, absolutely. I think myself, like, if I had a bad day, I would go home and just watch like stand-up comedy or improv, any like SNL sketches. Just instantly makes me feel better. Yeah. And I've heard people, like, they always laugh at our stuff. I feel like it's just, at the end, it's just like fun, like, to come home and just be able to watch like an undergrad sketch and be like, oh, it's funny. I'm happy they're doing that.
Yeah, and life is, people take life way too seriously sometimes, and I feel like it's just like, you can be in your bag or like think of all the horrible stuff that's going on, but like, comedy brings a completely different element to life itself, and it's like, it's really given me like a really good perspective on everything, and it's given me the idea that, like, I don't have to take myself if I take myself too seriously, then what's the point? Like, I just want to laugh, I want to have fun, and this is what this is all about. And I think comedy brings, a certain joy to people's lives that, they would have never gotten. And it's like, if we can contribute to any part of that, like, even in the slightest, if we can get somebody just to chuckle at one of our videos, and that maybe like brings up their day, like, that's what we're all about at the end of the day. Is we just want to make people laugh, and I feel like laughter really can really help people, like, move on from things and deal with the harshness of life itself, because comedy just does that. And if we can at all contribute to that, I think that's fantastic, and that's what we're about. So
Awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely a big thing for us. Like, we want to make people happy. We want to make people laugh. That's why we do it. And I think people who like comedy and laugh at comedy, which is, I hope, everyone, some sort of comedy. I think those are comedy is just a great thing. It really is. I do think it makes people happy. It brings joy to people, especially Robin Williams, because he's just so like
GOAT.
Yeah, he's just so like, I don't know. He's lovable. He was a lovable guy, and it's upsetting that he's gone. But yeah, that's a great quote, and I really do believe that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Another quote, Bill Burr, he said, being a comedian is an incredible thing, but it can be scary sometimes. Clearly, as with many art forms, comedy is super subjective. Like, people are always going to have an opinion, and it's very vulnerable, as with any art form. So is it scary to put yourself out there sometimes and, really just be vulnerable in front of the camera, in front of an audience too?
At first, it was a little bit like we didn't want to say the wrong things to make us look bad or like potentially not get a job anymore. But I think we found that medium where like we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, that's really the only thing I'm worried about with doing these videos. If like a job in the future like is like, oh, those are whatever. But I don't think our videos are that bad. And also, sorry. And also, what the hell? I forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
I had another question that would piggyback off, maybe would help you.
Okay.
Like, are you ever afraid that somebody might take your material the wrong way?
That's a good question.
I don't think that personally, the way I see our material is that I don't think we push the limits of really anything. Like, I don't think, and if someone does take offense to it,
Sorry.
like you said, it's subjective. People aren't going to think our stuff is funny, or people might think our stuff is offensive. But that's with any comedian. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that your question, it is vulnerable, and it was like starting off. It was hard to like put yourself out there because you come from. I come from a very small town, and like nobody does this back home. Yeah. Like, I've never been able to express this like part of me like at all, because it's like you don't want to put yourself out there.
Right.
When I came to college, and I found people that are like, hey, like, we don't care, like, let's just go for it, and that was the most liberating thing. Comedy is very scary, and it does. I mean, Bill Burr's the GOAT. Bill Burr, if you ever see this, I love you so much. But he's my guy. But it is scary at first. But I think once you drop I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm just gonna try to make this as best I can.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a completely different element. You grow so much as not only like a person, but as a comedian. You grow, and I think that dropping the whole like I don't really care what anybody thinks, and dropping like whatever, like James was in a dress yesterday in a quad, like I feel like we've all gotten to the point where we're like we don't really care anymore. And your second question, there is a point where I do think like keeping people's emotions in mind, we do that, and I think that I like to push the boundaries because I'm a firm believer that anything can be funny if it's done the right way.
Yeah.
But like, for example, our one animated sketch, it's like Nazis aren't funny. They're not. But if you do it the right way and you don't make it the butt of the joke, like we put like, and we're making fun of them. It's like Nazis are a horrible thing, and you can make fun of horrible and tragic things, but if it's done right, you can open a conversation and you can make it well done. And I think that's what we do if we're ever like doing something that's a little edgy. We never make anything like the butt of the joke, and I think that's the problem. And I think if we do it right, then people will respect it and be like, "Oh, that was a clever way to do that." Yeah. So I don't think we never go out to offend anyone. We never we never make a video to be like, "Oh, like to put somebody
jab a certain
jab." We don't make videos to offend, but there are some offensive things that we do, and like for example, the Nazi sketch where we're tripping and we fight Nazis. It's like that could be seen as like, oh well, I don't like that, but I think we do it the right way every time.
Yeah, it's difficult because today, especially, I mean,
Yeah.
people are sensitive. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the flip side of that, I feel like even just meme culture is just
Yeah.
so brutally
No.
just
Oh my
like
God.
over the top.
Yeah.
So it's funny that people are also equally as sensitive, but they're
Yeah.
making this content that is just so
Yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
did you just say?
Yeah.
You know? It's like people are pushing
Yeah.
boundaries.
I think we
Yeah.
do a happy medium. I think that
Yeah.
we're not going to limit ourselves to a certain culture, but we're also keeping in mind that this is the world we live in,
Yeah.
and we're not here to offend. We're just here to be wacky and crazy.
And I also feel like we don't need to kind of direct the joke towards a certain group to be funny. Like we
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
we just do weird situations. We don't really do topical stuff. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, we do stuff that we think is funny,
Yeah.
pretty much.
yeah,
And like Pat said, piggybacking off what he said, like we might put a little offensive things in there that might be offensive to some people, like the Nazis, but I don't think that's offensive. You
No.
don't think that's offensive.
Yeah.
He doesn't think that's offensive. Our followers don't think it's offensive.
And I
So if
think
someone
it's all
thinks,
right to offend Nazis.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if someone
Fuck
thinks
Nazis.
if
Yeah.
someone
You heard it first.
yeah. Fuck that. The undergrads is an anti-Nazi group.
if someone thinks
call
it's
you on that.
offensive, like if that one person thinks it's offensive, then
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
yeah, I mean, the
sorry.
majority of people obviously love your content.
Yeah.
There's always going to be haters, but I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are, like you said, you have a balance,
yeah.
and it's working very well. So aside from your content, we're almost there, by the way. I'm sorry if this is.
I know.
No, I'm having a lot of
fine,
fun. Yeah.
yeah.
We're getting there. Aside from your content that you put up on Instagram, I know that you guys are part of an improv group. You guys do live performance work. What is the difference you'd say, especially in preparation for doing something like a live performance in front of all those people versus when you can script something, have multiple takes, stuff like that?
That's a great question.
I honestly just love doing both, but just like the joy of getting the immediate response from an audience to laugh
Yeah.
is just like
Yeah.
an unmatched feeling. Like it's
Yeah.
just your own raw material that you're putting out there and you're just getting that like response immediately. It's awesome. But like doing sketch comedy, it's cool because we've had scenarios that have happened in improv that were like, that's an awesome idea, but I think it should be more thought out. So that's happened a bunch of times. So being able to do sketch comedy is cool because it just gives us time to think what would be funny, what would work, and all that. But I still think like improv is just an unmatched feeling. Like there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And improv is more. I completely 100% agree with James. It's like improv is, and I think it's made us all like a lot quicker, a lot faster to jokes, and it's like there's something about saying something off the top of your head and a room full of people is like, oh, that was funny. I'm gonna laugh at that. And then it's also cool when you write out something, you take time to write out a joke, and then people are liking, viewing, commenting. That's also great. So it's different. They're both equally like awesome to me.
Yeah.
But improv has made like me a lot sharper, and it's made our writing a lot better, I think. And made us on camera more comfortable because performing in front of people is hard, and also performing in front of a camera is really hard too.
Yeah,
sure.
So I think improv plays a balance in not only like the writing part and being quick on your feet, but also being comfortable in front of. Now, if I can do a bit in front of a room full of people, I can do a bit in front of a camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, improv, like, when we film, we're usually working with the same people. But with improv, like, every round we do of improv, like every round of shows, we have a different cast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're working with other different people whose sense of comedy might be different. So that also plays a part in how improv is making us better at writing, because we're seeing different senses of comedy, and I feel like I've become way more cultured in general by doing improv, because like I've learned a lot of things about the world doing improv because people like JC or Danny who are in the cast, even Vic, like because
Have
they all have
completely different
different
styles.
yeah they all have different styles, and like they all think different things are funny, so we kind of combine that all in our
That's a great
sketches and stuff.
Yeah.
Like our friend Chitty said, it's like just a group of friends who have different styles of comedy that come together with the same goal of just making the audience laugh.
Yeah.
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 And it really it helps us get better with our sketches because it helps us make a wider audience laugh because we know different senses of comedy now.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to make one person laugh and another person may not laugh at the same things they do.
Right.
But I can make that person laugh with other things, you know?
Yeah.
And I really love that feeling, like being able to make multiple, different varieties of people laugh because it brings joy to them, we said before. And the more people we make laugh, the more happy I'm going to be.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. For my last question, going off of kind of everything you guys were just saying, you've developed this sense of your own personal style with undergrads. Like your humor is seen throughout every video you do, every sketch you do. You've kind of built a brand around like what undergrads is. I mean, not aside from just the logo and the merch and everything. I feel like when I go on your Instagram or watch your videos, it's like, okay, I know what to expect. When you first get started with something like that, is it a little difficult to kind of find that style, or as you guys go on, do you find yourself fitting naturally into that style?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think when we first started, the undergrads, and I think even still now, it's like we don't want to pretend to be somebody people we're not. We're not SNL. We're not this kind of. We're a very like wacky like college humor type video and a college humor type group, and I think that's what our initial idea was, and a lot of our videos have that. I think now we are starting to branch out a little bit more and try different things and try different styles, but there is that, like what you said, you kind of know what you're expecting with us. It's like you kind of know what you're getting into. We like to just make everything as crazy as humanly possible, and I really like that. You got that undergrad's twist to it where it's like a normal situation, but we're going to elevate it by 10. So I think that's like our style, and we kind of found that niche that we like, and people really respond well to it. And we're going to constantly be trying to push the boundaries and like come up with different styles, come up with different ideas and concepts, but also have that kind of style that we find funny, because I think we all have like a similar type of comedy. We all bring different parts of ourselves to each video, but I think we've all found like that kind of twist that we like to bring to videos. And it took time, but I think we're now in our stride of like making that happen.
Yeah, I agree.
You said it all.
Great. If you guys don't have anything to add. So, okay, where can everybody find you? Everybody wants to see what you guys are all about. Where can they watch you, and what future projects do you have lined up?
You could follow us on Instagram at undergrads. We have a YouTube, undergrads, and we just started. TikTok. TikTok. We just started.
Whoa. We're just renegading. It's awesome.
We do TikTok, and I think that's at the undergrads, and we just started designing merch and selling merchandise. So if you want,
that link is in our Instagram bio.
Yeah, link in our Instagram bio at undergrads again.
Yeah. Yep. Please buy stuff.
Yes, before.
Awesome. I will.
Yes, perfect. Yes, absolutely.
Well, you guys can finish your thought. If you want to thank us.
Yes, thank you for
you so
having
much.
us. This is a great idea and a great cause, and I like what you guys are doing, trying to get young artists and rising artists in and talking to them.
Thank you
It's
so
an
much.
awesome idea.
Yeah, it
thank
is.
you.
It's
very well produced as well.
Yes, very well produced.
We're trying.
Nice job, intern Mikey.
Mike is great. He'll be our intern forever. No, he'll get up there one day. Well, that'll wrap up our second episode of Focal Point. Be on the lookout for more discussions just like this, and be sure to follow Rising Artists Collective either via Instagram or YouTube, and listen to us on Spotify. Thanks so much again, guys.
Thank you.
This was great. Be sure to follow them too. They're really funny, so you won't be disappointed. All right, guys. Catch you next time.